Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Welcome everyone to Satsang. Let me have a look at this chat here. Okay, so John has asked to read something that he wrote, so please go ahead. Turn your microphone on.
Audio, yes, I think so. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so the team, we are one. We are all one. You get up enthusiastic, a good shower, one, all one. Wonderful. Then you open the paper. China, Russia, USA politics, all one. Really? You go to work. Some care, some don't. All one. Annual meeting for the condominium. Again, some care, they do volunteer work for the community, some don't. Me, myself, and I. All one, really? And so on. All one, really? What a funny belief. For mentally challenged or what? That's the question, Rishi. All one.
Well, since you pose it at the end as a question, what immediately comes to mind is to remind you that when there are, in our spiritual lives and in our spiritual knowing of truth, there can be, as you've written, almost a disconnect between the realization or recognition, all one, and the experience of the world. So it's important to really understand what is meant by the statement, we are all one. Because there are levels of understanding available in a statement like that. Of course, on a purely worldly view, from that point of view, it is a really nice idea that the world and everyone in it is all one, but it doesn't manifest that way, does it? It really manifests as separation in some ways, in many ways. But our task as seekers of truth is to realize directly, not with the mind, but with direct perception. That the one that's being spoken about in truth is not the false identity in the body or in the mind that is trying to find union or happiness in the world. Because we know through the teaching that any happiness that is found through the body, through the mind, and in the world is destined to be a temporary happiness. And then it will split. The temporary happiness that we can find with the body, mind, or world won't last. And then when this fall from happiness happens, if that's what we are seeking in the world, we will suffer. So then the larger question arises, if the sages say, you are happiness, I am happiness, what is being pointed toward? The reason this is a challenging question to answer is because it's like looking at the reflection of the moon on the surface of a lake. When you are standing in the dark night and you are looking at the surface of the lake, you see the moon. And it's beautiful. And your heart is buoyed by it, and you feel some happiness in that moment. But if you know the truth of the circumstance, you know that while you are experiencing the moon in that moment, your deep wisdom tells you that is unreal. That is a reflection. And this causes you to look up, to look for that moon, because you know that what you are experiencing is a reflection of something which is real. This is exactly the way to view the world and your experiences in the world, and exactly the way to stop looking for happiness, for peace, for whatever it is you're looking for in the world itself. See the world, see the body, see the mind, see other as a reflection of the being consciousness, which is the light shining in awareness itself. In this way, we aren't constantly pulled into a false sense of security or a false sense of happiness, only to have that be destroyed later. Everything that we experience can be said in a moment, whether it's a sensation in the body, an emotion in the body, mind, an experience in the world, can be said because we are experiencing it, that it is actually happening in that moment. But wisdom tells us this will not last. And this is true whether the experience in the body, mind, or world is pleasant or unpleasant. Whether the mind interprets the experience to be good or bad. Deep wisdom from inquiry, from contemplation, from living in a spiritual way, shows us that while we are experiencing things, those experiences, the experiencer is not who we are, and leads us naturally through the experiences, body, mind, and world, to ask the question, who is the experiencer? Who am I? If our quest, if you will, in this life is to understand something about the nature of being, this question, who or what am I, will find a way to rise in awareness through a book, through a person, through a practice. It will find a way to rise. Everyone who is here now, this question has already arisen for you. This is why you are here. And your mind will still question, as John's mind is questioned here. Says, is this really true? But understand that this question only arises if you are looking at the reflection of the moon rather than the moon itself. If you are looking toward the truth, then you are looking toward the true light. And then the world will go on as it always has. And your quest for understanding, your contemplation of the divine will go on within you, no matter what is in your mind, your body, or your experience. Because this question, for each of you who are here and have found yourself here some way, by some form of grace, this question has already been going on within you for a long time, whether this particular mind or body has been aware of it or not. Remember that the oneness which is being pointed at here is not an attempt to get the mind to think more positively with a statement like, we are all one. What is being pointed at here is direct perception that behind all the experience of body, mind, world, happiness, unhappiness, joy, sadness, behind all experience is being consciousness, awareness itself. So use whatever experience you're having in the body, mind, or world, whether it is the experience of happiness or the experience of separation, loss, uncertainty, not knowing, whatever the experience is, ask the question, who? Who perceives this? Until the direct perception that the one that's being pointed at is that awareness which is present here now in every single one of us, appearing, seeming to manifest as different points of light, as different beings, but having its origin, its source, in the full recognition, all is Brahman, all is one. This oneness has nothing to do with the variety of experience. This oneness is the direct perception that waking, dreaming, sleeping, past, present, future, body, mind, world are all rising as phenomenon, as objects. In the one awareness which flows through all beings and every moment. And this awareness you already are. It is your nature, and the understanding of it is the great blessing and the great gift that you have been given in this life. This gift is always available. It is closer than your mind, closer than your heart, closer than your experience, closer than your senses. Turn toward it until you realize you are it. So, does anyone else have something they'd like to share or ask? So, everyone is here fully. Very good. This awareness, which you are, this being consciousness, which I speak about all the time, is paradoxical in a way. And it's summed up generally in the teaching through the statement, you cannot see it, you can only be it. This statement is a guide for us. In all of our experience, through the senses, through the body mind, in experiences in the world, there is always a subtle perception that there is a witness or a watcher that is here, that whatever the experience in body, mind, or world, good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant, there is a witnessing quality, something that knows this experience. This something that knows, however, is very quiet. So quiet that if given the opportunity, the mind will step right over the knowing, the witness, and jump right into the experience, putting it on like a suit of clothing. The experience will then be, oh, this is what I am. I am a man. I am a woman. I am young. I am old. I am rich. I am poor. I am married. I am single. The mind will go about in the world, trying on different suits of clothing, trying to find something that fits, but always being just a little bit uncomfortable in the clothing that's been tried on. But once there's a willingness to fall back into the witnessing position or into the witnessing state, this tendency or habit to keep trying on different styles of clothing, different colors. Starts to become uninteresting. To understand that I am not anything I experience. That when I refer to I, what I'm really referring to is not a body. It's not a mind. It's nothing in the world. This I that's being referred to is the conscious witness of all that is going on. Once this begins to dawn on you, that this is the truth, that this is the nature of the experience that you are having, you slowly begin to lose interest in all the things that came before, all the things you thought would make you happy, would bring you pleasure, would help you avoid pain. All of these things become just not interesting anymore. Now you are just here, and the only thing that's interesting is the awareness itself. The awareness itself, or consciousness itself, is simply taking an interest in to one degree or another in its own activity. Now there is nothing out there which can satisfy. The only thing, I don't really want to say it that way, the only recognition that is really true, that really is peaceful, joyful, loving, and kind, is the recognition that which is aware, conscious, loving, and kind is here, manifesting as I. Now, resting in that, one looks out into this troubled world and sees only kindness, only love. And understands that whatever is manifesting as a consequence of understanding either the source of freedom or the source of suffering. The source of freedom is here now as being consciousness, this knowing, I am that. The source of suffering is the veiling of that knowing. The mind covering over the blissful nature of the heart. As soon as this simplistic pointing is understood completely, joy, love, compassion, understanding toward all beings begins to flower and open out in every direction. And one sees the suffering of all beings as the misunderstanding of one's true nature. And then the heart of compassion can open truly toward the whole world, toward all beings. And one sees the world not in terms of countries or bodies or war or peace, but in terms of a basic equality of all beings on the same journey toward truth. Even when it's uncomfortable for me.